great job.
Good evening. This is the April 2nd, 2025 Seminole County Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This board is a 7-member board appointed by the Board of County Commissioners. A quorum has been established to hold tonight's meeting. Public hearing items acted upon by this board are referred to the Board of County Commissioners for further consideration. Board members present tonight are me, Chairman Mike Lorenz, Vice Chairman Tim Smith, Commissioner Dan Lopez, Commissioner Carissa Lahan, Commissioner Lourdes Aguirre, Commissioner Brandy Iapolo, and Commissioner Richard German. Staff present tonight are Jose Gomez, Development Services Director, Nisa Borkert, Deputy County Manager,
Attorney.
It says manager on my notes. I was like, as soon as I said it, it didn't sound right. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, we need to correct that. Excuse me. Joy Giles, Principal Planner, Hillary Payton, Planner, Tammy Bushwood, PNC Board Clerk. Tonight's meeting will go as follows. Staff will introduce the item. The applicant will present their item. Audience members wishing to speak will then be heard. Audience participant requires each speaker complete a comment card and give it to the clerk. Comment cards are located in the lobby. Please indicate on the comment form whether you would like to make oral comments. Written comments will also be accepted. Speakers should restrict their comments to information directly related to the item being heard. When called, speakers should approach the microphone, clearly stating their name and address for the record. The board may ask questions of the speaker. After all speakers have been heard, public comment will be closed. The applicant will be given the chance for rebuttal. Any items shown, such as videos, presentations, pictures, or maps, must be left with the clerk for public record. Items shown from electric devices should be emailed to the clerk. A motion will be made and seconded. Board discussion may occur and conclude with a vote. I will request a roll call vote for any split votes. All right, let's start with the agenda. We'll start with the acceptance and approval of proof of publication. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Next, we'll approve of the minutes. Board, do you have any changes? Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Next, we will start out with our first item, technical review item, Encore at Hillview Preliminary Subdivision Plan. Joy Giles.
Good evening, Joy Giles, Development Services Planning Manager. The applicant is requesting approval of the Encore at Hillview Preliminary Subdivision Plan for 28 townhome lots on approximately 3.34 acres, zoned R3A multiple family dwelling, located on the north side of Hillview Drive, east of State Road 434. The subject property has a high-density residential feature land use designation, which allows a maximum of 20 dwelling units per net buildable acre. However, the R3A multiple family dwelling zoning classification limits the density to 10 dwelling units per net buildable acre. The site is located within the City of Altamont Springs utility service area and will be required to connect to public utilities. The development will access onto Hillview Drive, and the internal right-of-way will be privately owned and maintained by the HOA. Staff finds the PSP to be in compliance with Chapter 35 of the Seminole County Land Development Code and in compliance with the existing land use and zoning designations of the property. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the preliminary subdivision plan for the Encore at Hillview subdivision containing 28 townhome lots on 3.34 acres zoned R3A, located on the north side of Hillview Drive, east of State Road 434. Thank you.
Thanks, Joy. Questions from the board? Seeing none, is the applicant present?
Yes.
Would you like to approach, please? Name and address, please.
Hello, Zachary Miller at 8241 Via Bonita Street in Sanford.
Anything to add, or?
Not at all. No, we're in compliance with future land use. Seems like a pretty easy deal. So, any question? I'm available for any questions. So,
Yeah. Does the board have any questions for the applicant? Seeing none?
None.
All right, I'll open it up for a motion.
makes sense.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I'll recommend the approval of the preliminary subdivision plan for the Encore at Hillview subdivision containing 28 residential lots on approximately 3.34 acres zoned R3A multiple family dwelling located at the north side of Hillview Drive, approximately a quarter mile east of State Road 434.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. All right, moving on to our public hearing items. 2825, Walden's Pond Cove Special Exemption. Hillary Payton presenting.
Good evening, Hillary Payton, Planning and Development. This item is a request for a special exception for 2825 Walden's Pond Cove for an existing assisted living facility located within the Mandarin subdivision in Longwood to increase from 6 to 8 residents in the A1 zoning district on 1 acre located on the west side of Walden Pond Cove. The assisted living facility, known as Arrow Senior Care, employs 4 staff members to provide round-the-clock care for their non-driving elderly residents. The structure is a 2,393 square foot, 4-bedroom, single-family residence. The applicant's intent is to have 2 residents for each bedroom without any structural modifications to the facility. In compliance with the Seminole County Land Development Code, Section 30.3.5, Community Meeting Procedures, the applicant conducted a community meeting on December 21st, 2024. Details of the community meeting have been provided in the agenda package. Section 30.3.1.5 of the Seminole County Land Development Code states that certain criteria must be met for the Board of County Commissioners to approve a special exception request. Staff finds that the request only meets 2 of the 10 criteria. The facility currently houses 6 residents, is within an existing single-family residential subdivision, is character with the typical occupancy and use in a single-family residential subdivision, and is precluded by Florida statute from zoning regulations. Approval of the special exception allowing for 8 residents would then deem the facility non-residential and trigger additional requirements for the property and structure to make it align with a commercial use facility, such as signage, parking, and sprinkler systems. The existing trend of development in the area is suburban estates, single-family residential in character, and therefore would not be compatible with a higher resident count commercial use facility. The additional residents would incur additional trips by employees, visitors, medical professionals, ambulance transportation, and other vehicular traffic through this residential subdivision to support the additional residents' needs. Therefore, it would create an unduly adverse effects on traffic patterns, movements, and volumes throughout the subdivision. This property is located on an interior local road of an established suburban estates single-family residential subdivision without the means of easy access to public infrastructure to support a commercial-level assisted living facility use. The comprehensive plan intends for the property to act as a buffer between urban development and rural area and not for a non-residential facility, and therefore it's not consistent with the comprehensive plan. In addition to the imposition of additional traffic upon the residents of the subdivision, the proposed increase of residents would require the assisted living facility to conform to the additional standards. And would create the appearance of a commercial facility while located within the subdivision. Therefore, the granting of the special exception would adversely affect the public's interest. Section 30.6.10.3 of the Land Development Code states that assisted living facilities may be approved by the BCC as a special exception, provided that in addition to all of the other findings, that it does not create an overconcentration of such areas or substantially alter the nature and character of the area. Although the location does not create an overconcentration, Florida Statutes 419.001 subsection 3C3 states that a home that is located within 500 feet of an area of single-family residential zoning substantially alters the nature and character of the area. This facility is surrounded by single-family homes within an established community, and the additional requirements of the facility with over 6 beds requires additional standards to comply with, causing the nature and character of the single-family home to be altered. The existing structure is currently 2,393 square feet, and as the applicant is not proposing to expand the structure, so therefore the proposed structure is compatible with the neighborhood and its physical size. The proposed increase of beds for this assisted living facility would require commercial use standards such as parking, buffering, and signage that would not be in character with the rural zoning classification. It would create additional traffic to the location that would be intensive in nature and not compatible with the concept of a low-density rural land use. The subject property is serviced by Sunshine Water and has a septic system in place. Sunshine Water provided a letter verifying services to the address. The Florida Department of Health issued a letter approving the request for an increase to 8 beds. Therefore, the property does have access to adequate levels of public services. 7 letters of opposition were received from the property owners within the subdivision and forwarded to the board for your consideration. Staff requests that the Board of County Commissioners deny the special exception and associated development order for an 8-bed assisted living facility in the A1 zoning district on 1 acre on the east side of Walton's Pond Code. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you for that. Board, any questions for Steve? Go ahead.
2 questions. First, you mentioned it was septic.
Right.
You know the location of the septic? Is it in the front?
I don't know. Let me see if it's on the
Looking at
site.
the aerial, it almost appears that it might be, because then that ties into my second question will be the parking. So 4 staff members, 8 potential people, 2 people per bedroom, unrelated individuals, right? I'm
Yeah.
thinking that's the current parking situation doesn't seem adequate.
They're
And-
not driving residents,
But then family or visitors,
Right,
right? I'm
correct.
thinking worst case scenario.
What our code requires is to have a half of a parking space for an assisted living facility for each bed, so that we would only require 4 spaces.
I see. Okay. That's all I got.
Can I, on the question on this is maybe a little off, on the Seminole County Denial Development Order that we have here, the copy, is that May 13th, 2025?
That's correct.
That's how that goes? Okay, so that's for future.
Yeah, that will be the date of the Board of County Commissioners meeting where they would make the final decision.
They would make the, okay, just a
Yes.
clarification on why we have that.
Yes.
Any other questions for staff? All right. Is the applicant present?
Yes.
Okay. Please approach and state your name and address.
Carol McIntyre, owner-operator for Arrow Senior Care at 2825 Walden Ponds Cove.
And would you like to discuss your item or add anything, or?
Well, there is a growing need for additional beds for the elderly. Well, you may not know, or I should say there is, in the history of America, the largest population of baby boomers who have retired and continue to retire. So if we have assisted living, we're all capped at 6 in Seminole County for obvious reasons. And if everyone was able to, I just started, Change Start with 1, just able to take 1 person or 2 extra, it would really help to solve a problem. I'm not asking for 5, I'm only asking for 2 extra beds. And as it relates to parking, no one drives. So we're talking about maybe 4 extra visits from families per month. Yeah.
Okay. At this time, is there any questions from the board?
How many employees do you have at any one time in the facility?
We do 8-hour shifts from 8 to 8, and within the shifts, we have 2 employees per shift, one from 8 to 8, one from 8 to 2, every day.
I was just looking at the aerial that was provided to us. It has 3 cars in the driveway, so I assume if you expand, maybe there'll be more cars on.
On that day, it was probably a family member who was there. One of our employees, she doesn't drive, she takes Uber. As the administrator, I drive, I'm there. So, we have never had an issue
Okay.
with parking. We have a garage and we have adequate parking space within the driveway.
How often per month would you say you get, not just family visitors, but medical personnel, ambulance,
Okay.
transportation?
We have a doctor and staff. She comes out once per month to see all the residents. And ambulance, we don't have a cap on that. We'll go months without an ambulance, and then in 1 week, we'll have 2 occurrences. We had one last week. A person was having some mild stroke symptoms, so we had to send them to the hospital because we are non-medical. So anything medical, we have to send them out. I do have a copy of our sign-in log, so you could see the flow of traffic of visitors that come in on a daily basis or monthly. I have 4 months' worth of visitors log to show, to see the traffic pattern and flow.
Would anybody like to see that, or?
Oh, I believe you.
Okay.
Are you asking that it be submitted into evidence or just offering to show it? If you'd like to submit it, if you only have 1 copy, you can submit it to the clerk or you
Okay,
can
I
email.
will.
You can
Yeah, I will
email
submit it.
Okay.
Okay, sure.
Any other questions for the applicant? Seeing none. Okay.
That's it?
I guess in that case, we'll open it up to public comments if you don't have anything else to share right now.
Sure.
You'll have a chance to rebuttal afterwards.
Okay. So do I go back?
You could sit back,
Okay.
yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, so I do have some, we had emails that came in that were opposed to this. We also have a number of public comment cards, so we'll go ahead and start going through those. Probably ask, just start with Ray. Cedar Hawk, is Ray there? If you'd like to come up and make a comment.
What was the name again?
Ray? Yeah, 1720 Sandwood?
1725,
Yes, sir.
that's...
Yeah, if you could
going up.
state your name and address, that'd be great.
My name is Ray Sadat. My address is 1720 Sunwood Drive, Longwood. I live in Mandarin Subdivision, across the street from new neighbor. And I guess I just wanted to share my personal experience if I'm not on time limit. I bought this house 23 years ago, and we had some family friends in the neighborhood, and he said, "Why don't you come here and maybe buy a house one day here?" So went to check the subdivision, and said there is no HOA, but everybody's very responsible. They take care of their lawns and other issues, and we don't have any problem. And this is the neighbors way far from each other. And if you're interested, maybe one day you want to buy a house here. Believe it or not, a month later, I bought a house in Mandarin Subdivision, across the street from our new neighbor. My background is I'm state certified in 4 areas: general contractor, roofing contractor, mobile home, and home inspection. And I'm here pretty much every month pulling permit from Seminole County. And for the last 20 years, I've been pulling permit. So what happened after the new owner purchased the property, he residents of the Mandarin subdivision contact me through Texas email, and some knocked my house and said, you contractor, you engineer, we need your help to resolve this issue. We have been concerned about this new projects coming up, assisted living. Maybe you can go to Seminole County and talk to building department and see how we can resolve this issue and get more information. So I came here, went to planning department. They explained to me that they've been getting information, but they're not planning to pull a permit. There is a process you have to go through before and they have to put a sign in our subdivision before we have a meeting with commissioners. And we didn't see any sign, but we got the message that we have to come here today and explain. And so pretty much and the neighbors concerned about the traffic, the codes, and believe it or not, I decided to, as a contractor, homeowner, I decided to put addition to my house in front of garage, and my neighbor and my house is 45 feet away from my house, and I paid the architect for the drawing, and then they said, unfortunately, I fall in 10-inch to my setback, and I have to go in front of setback.
Ray, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to stop you there because your 3 minutes are up, unless you want to summarize up a little bit more. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I need a couple more minutes, if not.
Yeah, everybody gets 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
But you have more, yeah, anything else to?
Yeah, it's, like I said, they're very concerned. They're calling me, they're getting information, and I got all the information. They said, looks like the new owner been doing this on regular basis. They buy this sort of, they look for properties with no HOA, and they purchase these places to use as a assisted living as a business.
Okay. Thank you. Was there any question?
Just to clarify, he's against, right?
Yeah,
He's
that was
against
opposed.
it? Okay.
Santa, George, at 1792. And this also opposed. And you said no comment, or would you like to comment?
Nabil Gergis, I would like to have a couple of comments. I've been living in this.
Sir, could you
Yes.
just, over here. Hi. Could you just state your name and address for the record, please?
Nabil Gergis, 1792 Sunwood Boulevard, Longwood, Florida, 32779.
Thank you.
My wife and myself have been living in this great community for 43 years. I'm the patriarch of the community. We loved it. Even a friend of mine who lives in Heathrow, he came and visited me. He said, I love this community much better than Heathrow. And here, all of a sudden, we find out assisted living in our community. Nothing against elder people. I am old myself. But when I signed the contract with Seminole County, we are not supposed to have business in our house or have a truck or vehicle that has the name of the business in the driveway. Then all of a sudden we have this assisted living. This is a business. This is not sympathetic to elder people. One point which I think you mentioned it, which is the visitors. As a family, I have friends and visitor and family visit 2 or 3 a week. Here we have 8. Each one has a family and friends. How many? And this puts a lot of, in other words, if I have 2 or 3 a week, then 8 will have 8 times 3, 24 a week. That's unacceptable, and this is too much traffic for our community. It is dangerous for our the kids, the school kids, and things like that. In addition to the noise that's coming from the ambulances, and she mentioned, the applicant mentioned 2 a week. 2 a week. We would like to see a whole year, not 1 month or not 1 week, because this is the workers, the medical assistant, and the county visits to check on the code, and many other traffic coming to this community. And this disturbs our peace and quiet in our community. Thank you, and we elected you to do our wishes and what's good for us. Please remember that. Thank you.
Any questions? All right. We will proceed. Next one up, also opposed, Elaine Scott. Please come up and state your name and address, please.
Chairman, do you mind if I just make a clarification for the record for maybe the audience members?
Please do.
Audience members, I just want to let you know that the state allows for these homes by right in residential communities for up to 6 people. So whether or not if this is approved today, it would be for 8 people, not 6 people. It doesn't go away. And also I'll add that what the Planning and Zoning Board's job is to review this and the criteria that we have in the code, and then they make a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners. And the Board of County Commissioners make the final determination at another public meeting, which will be in May, I think May 13th. So I just want to let everybody know that, it's not considered, operating a business per se by the state. They say, yes, you can have these within the neighborhoods. The county doesn't control that portion of it. What we can control is whether or not someone meets the criteria to exceed those 6 people. So I just wanted to kind of clarify that for the record, so everybody understands that, if it's not approved, it will still exist. It will just have 6 residents instead of 2 residents.
Thank you for that clarification.
You're welcome.
Elaine Scott, 2816 Walden's Pond Cove, along with 32779. I live across the street, adjacent to the home. I think 2022, we were here when they initially became a facility for 6. And I think right now the concern is, and what has been shared, of course, is that it is a residential community, that the traffic has been an issue. The emergency care has been an issue. But more so, and I have a personal note, is that my father at one point was in this type of facility. And to know that an owner would want to increase it from 6 to 8 to bring on board additional seniors, our parents, into such a cramped condition, to me, is unconscionable. They have individual needs, medical and otherwise, family needs, otherwise. And just to say that historically, we're at a point now where baby boomers are increasing in number and increasing care and need, and trying to put them somewhere does not make these homes, because they were not designed for this, to be that somewhere. I've lived there for 27 and a half years. Do I know the floor prints of each of these homes? No. My child probably knew them a whole lot better than I did, going in and out. And I can say, yes, you could have a family of 8, but a family of 8 does not constitute 8 seniors with different medical cares. Am I on that block? Yes. Have I seen traffic? Yes. Have I seen ambulances, emergency vehicles? Yes. My neighbor, who is not here, I'm not intentionally speaking for him, he is awakened at all early hours of the morning receiving packages with medical devices, medical equipment, not for him, for the house next door. something that he has had to endure since this has occurred. Yes, I am opposed to the 8. I understand that you can have 6, that's not a problem, because we've lived with that, but the increase is unconscionable at this time, especially for the care that I believe that they definitely would be entitled to, that they would not be able to receive. And as far as what she was saying, 8-hour shift, she said 8 to 8, that's a 12-hour shift. That's people coming and going all times. We have children on our block. We have traffic on our block that we really have never been accustomed to, because it is a quiet residential area, and that's what all of us, from 43 years to 28 and a half years, that's what we want, and that's what we want to continue. And thank you for clarifying. Okay, if they can have 6, that's fine, that's what they have had. Additional, to me, is just a money grab. It is not health care. It's trying to take advantage of a situation because, as she said, historically, we are now in a position where we now have more baby boomers, and we need somewhere for them to be. Just not in that home. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Those are good questions. Next one. Looks like Nabel George. Did I get that right? Oh, no. Okay. That works. Richard, 1724. Oh, okay. So you'll be speaking?
I'm not Richard.
Yeah.
I'm Eileen, his wife.
Okay. We'll probably need to-
Eileen Manani, 1724 Sunwood Drive. I put in a form right after him, I guess.
Okay.
I just want to clarify, we received notice, not notice, the community is very upset about assisted livings in the area. And we got an email saying that there was, on the agenda tonight, was 2825 Walden's Pond, and the other being Sunwood Drive. So that's why we came in. We were not sure if we're really supposed to be here today or not. But just to voice a little bit of our opinion, we live directly across the street from the structure that they're considering, or that's approved for an assisted living. This is what I'm hearing tonight. It's approved for 6 beds. And there's confusion about, since there was never any formal variance or planning board meeting about this, it just happens. Somebody sells their house and you can turn around and make an assisted living there? I don't understand how that works.
If you want to finish your comments, we can ask questions. We can answer your questions after you're
Okay,
completed.
well, the comments basically are that we're concerned about that. The property that I'm saying is not in a area, it's the first house you see when you come into the development.
Okay, can I just clarify? Are you talking about this property here?
Walden's, no, that's what I said.
Oh, okay, yeah, then-
That's why I'm not even sure if we're supposed to be speaking. I don't want to take up the
Yeah,
time if
yeah.
there's going to be another hearing.
No, so this hearing is specifically for this one request on Walden's Pond Cove.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
my question, I guess, after my statement, is there going to be a hearing for the property at 1725 Sunwood?
I don't know where that is offhand or
We've
what.
been calling
but,
about it, we've been calling about it. Other neighbors have been.
So what we can do is, if you want to, planning and zoning, our development services staff can look at that and get with you after the hearing and let you know.
Well, all right. The problem is, work has begun on the property. I live directly across the street.
Okay, so the issue is that we have to keep the record clear to this one property, because we're in the middle of like a quasi-judicial
For these
proceeding.
other people that are here for Walden's
Right,
Pond.
right.
But we want to make sure that our voices are heard for this other
Sure.
matter.
And Hillary can take you over and answer your
That's
questions
fine.
now.
Like I said, I don't want to waste the board's time, I don't want to waste the other people here, so.
Okay.
That was my comment about this. Were we even supposed to be here tonight?
No, we haven't received anything for this
I can show you the
Sunwood
email
address.
that I got.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we could.
Okay, if you guys could just take it to the side and we'll go to the next
I hope we
person.
see you when the other matter comes up.
Okay, thank you. I have one more that it's questionable whether or not they wanted to make a comment. It's Mariva Wade at 29. Was that a yes or no? It's up to you. Obviously, you didn't really choose which one.
Just very short.
Okay. Yeah, so please come up to the podium and state your name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
I'm Marva Wade, and I'm directly next door, 2829 Walden's Pond Cove. I'm a retired nurse. I am aware of the ability and need for an ALF, so I'm going to say that right up front. The previous, I think the owner, I'm not sure if they're still the owner, I'll just say that, but they operated, I did not have a problem. It was done very quietly and respectfully. I noticed new people, and I inquired, and I realized, oh, so we're doing it again with just different people. It was still okay. I don't have any issues with that. When I heard of the plan to increase bed, that's when I became curious, because my structure is, I believe, the same as this structure in question, and that would be very cramped. And I'm in agreement with my neighbor. For that amount of people, it would probably create some difficulty providing personal care for so many people in the smaller rooms. So that was my concern. It's logistics. I have no problem with someone trying to make a living providing some kind of care. Like I said, I'm a retired nurse. But I worry about the increase. As it is right now, I'm perfectly fine with it. I don't have any issues. No noise, no nothing. But the increase bothers me because I'm not sure how that will impact in the community and also on care. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think we got through all the public comment cards. Was there anybody else that wanted to speak that didn't fill out a form or that I didn't get to on this? I'm seeing that's no. All right. I will close the public comments and ask for the applicant to please approach. And
I have a
you
question.
have a
of
chance. Oh, go ahead.
Staff. What is, Joy or Hillary, what would the signage that would be required, what size, location, what would that be like in the transition from, to the commercial usage with 8 beds?
I'd have to look, I'd have to look at our sign code. It would just depend on what they propose. I believe our sign code, it would be 2 linear feet for every foot of building frontage. So I'm not sure what their frontage is, and that's what they would be maxed at. That they wouldn't necessarily have to have it that large, however large that is.
The minimum requirement would be?
We don't have a minimum requirement.
So changing it to a commercial usage doesn't necessarily imply signage, because the staff report says to make it align with as a commercial use facility, such as signage, parking, sprinkler systems.
It doesn't have to, but they can.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, perfect, thank you.
But the sprinklers, they would be required.
Okay, thank you.
You have that.
I didn't sign up.
I've already closed public comment. I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who inspects you are you inspected by, say, the state, or you're licensed?
Yes, we are inspected by ACA, the Healthcare Administration. We're inspected by the fire department. So as it relates to signage, as it is now, we're not allowed to, based on fire code, they don't allow us to have any type of signage because we must be in integrity in the community. Sprinklers is mandatory We already have sprinklers, alarm system, mandatory. We would not be licensed unless those things are in place. It's mandatory, whether we have 6 or whether we have 10 beds. And as a precedence already in Seminole County, there is an assisted living, 13 beds, and it's in a residential neighborhood, All Stars Assisted Living. And it's in a residential neighborhood, it's in a community, and they've been approved for 13 beds. As it relates to some of the, first of all, I want to say thank you for the time and the space to all the commissioners for the grievances and just the voice opinion and concerns, and for everyone to get a better understanding of who we are and what we do. Thanks for the clarity, because when I read some of the rebuttal letters, I felt like some of the neighbors, they didn't even know that we were there. So I wasn't sure if they were referring to us or someone else. So based on the comments, I realized that there's another assisted living, I guess, getting ready to be started in the neighborhood. So it makes sense in terms of some of the letters that were received. So we have very minimal adverse effect on the neighborhood. As it relates to traffic on a whole in the neighborhood has increased because more people are transacting from home, correct? You have people working from home, so you have FedEx coming in, you have Amazon, you have Kroger. So it's not just our emergency vehicle. And as I mentioned before, because we're dealing with life and it's so unpredictable, we will go months, 6, 7 months without an emergency vehicle. And then 1 week, we may have 2. We don't know. It's very, very unpredictable. But traffic on a whole in the neighborhood has increased because people are working from home. A lot more transacting is happening from home. So it's not just from our facility. We're towards the end of the cul-de-sac, and many times people drive towards the end and turn around and go out. So it's really not just from our facility. Also, as it relates to our neighbor being awake in hours of the night with packages, we have no control over what a postman does or doesn't do. We also receive mail for residents that doesn't belong to us. So we have no control over that. And he mentioned it, and it occurred once, twice, the most, but it's not like a frequent thing. But we have no control over that. If a mailman doesn't read the package and the address correctly, we don't have any control over that. And we don't have packages being delivered every day at late hours. So those were just some of my concerns. The home has been around for 14 years. I took over the last 18 months, and honestly, it's a great neighborhood, very quiet, and we aim at maintaining the integrity of the neighborhood and the neighbors, being in agreement with the neighbors. So I don't know if there are any more questions, but yeah.
I'll open it up to anybody have questions for the applicant? Okay.
I do. So I still keep going back to the parking with it, with the staff members, and you currently have 6 residents adding on 2 additional residents. I understand that the traffic currently probably isn't that severe, but the whole purpose of zoning laws, rules, and regulations is for worst-case scenarios. And so I'm just wondering, with adding on 2 additional residents, and if visitation does suddenly increase for any reason, remember we're talking about adults here with loved ones, and hopefully they have people that are willing to come visit them and check on them, making sure that they're okay. What are your plans to handle this parking situation? My thoughts go back to that septic system. Is it in the front?
It's in the front of the garage, the driveway. Yeah, the septic is right there.
In front of the garage, okay.
Yeah, so honestly, we haven't had any issues with parking. The most cars we have had at any given time is 3, 4 at the most. We haven't had any issues. We've only had one event, which was the grand opening. We have a garage space. We have 1, 2, 3. In the driveway alone, we could have 3, 4 cars easily fit in the driveway. We don't have. I am the My other worker, she works on the weekends, and she drives. So the workers with the cars, only one worker with the car. Everyone else, and if we have two workers, we move down. We don't have an issue with parking, because the residents, they do not drive.
So was there a specific need or a reason then to add on 2 additional residents onto this property?
We, again, as I stated in the beginning, there is a need. There's a growing need.
I understand the overall, and I welcome the idea of ALFs.
Yeah.
I think that they're very much needed, but I'm just wondering, for this specific property, was there a specific need or reason why you're asking for 2 additional ones?
We have had many inquiries, and we have to turn people away because we're full. Once we get to 6, that's it, we're full. So that's when the idea came up, let's see if we can expand to 2. And people may say, well, 2 is not going to make a difference, but if everyone does 1, even at least 1 more, it's cutting away at the problem. But that's the reason. You know, it's a vulnerable population. We provide exceptional care because we're small, so they get that personalized attention opposed to the big box. So a lot of people are buying more into the smaller communities because of the level of care that their loved ones receive. Yeah, so that's the reason. And we are in compliance in terms of code from the state as it relates to the square footage in the home and the room sizes. And I welcome anyone. We have an open door policy. After 10 o'clock, you're in the neighborhood, you want to stop by, you could pop in. We have nothing to hide. You can come in at any time and see who we are and what we do.
Thank you. That's all I have.
All right, any other questions from the board or discussion or a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that the Board of County Commissioners deny the special exception and associated development order for an 8-bed assisted living facility in the A1 zoning district on 1 acre located on the east side of Walden's Pond Cove.
Okay, just to be clear, that was for the deny. Right. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Can we have
Aye.
a little bit of discussion? first?
Absolutely, we can have discussion
All right.
first, yeah.
I just, I recognize that she has 6 by right, and I really commend the service that they provide. It's really a good situation, but I'm not happy with adding the hardship, and even though it only sounds like 2 more people, it's more delivery, more visitors, more everything. It just, she has her 6 by right, and I don't think we should impose any more hardship on the neighborhood and let her expand the business. So that's why I seconded that motion.
Any other discussion, or should we go ahead and vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, the denial passes.
Tell her that she'd go before the county commission.
Yeah, that's also true. So this isn't the final step. This is just our recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners. And it sounded like that meeting will be May 13th, is that correct?
May 13th,
13.
Yeah, May 13th, so.
in the afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Those of you in the audience, remember May 13th, the hearing occurs again. So if you have an interest in talking, you need to be there.
Yeah, so this is a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners. The meeting is May 13th, and that's when they'll make their decision on this item. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. Closing business, Jose, do you have anything for the board tonight?
Yes, a few items, just a few staffing updates. First, I want to, you guys all know Joy Giles. She is now our division manager for planning and development, so congratulations to her. She's going to be sitting at the director's chair. And today I'm sitting in where Vladimir Simonovsky typically sits. Vladimir has taken another job. He has actually gone to work with the city of Apopka, so we wish him luck there. He will be missed. He was a great asset, so just thank him for all his service here, and I know he was a great asset to you as well.
Absolutely, yes, right.
We have a new deputy Development Services Director, who will be starting on April 14th. Her name is Dagmarie Segura. She used to work at the county a few years ago. She's worked with the City of Oviedo, with the City of Lake Mary, City of Winter Springs, as well as Osceola County before, and she's currently the Deputy Community Services Director at the City of St. Cloud, and she's a Seminole County resident. She lives in Lake Mary, so she'll be a great addition to the team and help with the planning team. And then we've been having a series of work sessions on the Land Development Code with the Board of County Commissioners on different items of things that we'll be updating. In the next few months, we'll be bringing that to you to provide you a briefing on that. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. And that's all I have.
Joy, congratulations, but you'll be missed as a presenter.
Thank you very much.
You always were very good as a
Thank
presenter.
you. I appreciate that.
Agreed. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, does the board have anything to discuss? All good. All right, I'm going to adjourn the meeting. No further business.